The views expressed on this show do not represent those of NTV or its staff.
Good evening, honorable members. Welcome to this session of NTV People's Parliament, seated here at Chirijime Guest House in Kabale District, Gezi Region. It is a platform where Ugandans get to share and air their views on issues that affect their everyday life. Agnes Nandutu, the Speaker of the People's Parliament, presides. Madam Speaker, Transparency International and the East Africa Bribery Index have assessed Uganda as highly corrupt every year since 1996. Recent studies by scholars have also revealed that the decentralization brought in more corruption at local government level, directly affecting service delivery. I therefore propose that we discuss the effects of corruption on service delivery and also review the institutional strategies undertaken by government and the local leaders to fight corruption.
Those in favor, aye. To the contrary, no? Aye. Ayes have it. Welcome to NTV People's Parliament, seated here in Kabale District, debating a very important topic, how corruption has affected the social service delivery in Kabale District. Mwebale kuja Banyakabale. Thank you, honorable members. Thank you for coming. And a discussion on the cancer of corruption normally tends to focus on the public sphere of governance or the central government. But with decentralization, local governments are also engaged in many development activities that involve billions and billions of Ugandan shilling. Corruption may rear its ugly head in such endeavors because of the huge amounts of money involved. But what is the situation in Kabale District in relation to social service delivery? Before we set this debate in motion, I would like to invite one of us in Kabale who has been fighting corruption, kicking corruption out of Kabale and Kigezi as a region. Yes, honorable member, can you please take up the podium and give us an overview, since you have been involved in fighting corruption or kicking corruption out of Kigezi? What is the status on the ground, honorable member?
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker and the honorable members. Corruption is really a vice that Kabale and Kigezi as a region we cannot escape. It has also affected us as far as service delivery is concerned. If I may give a few examples that we have experienced as the people of Kabale and Kigezi. First of all, corruption is not only about financial matters. It is all about some other aspects that compromise service delivery. For instance, you remember Kabale experienced one of the challenges when the district council, through miss or intentional interpretation of policies and laws, they decided to terminate one of the former chief administrative officers away from the district, and the chief administrative officer won the case and charged the Kabale district quite a hell of money that affected us here. Is that another form of corruption? It was corruption because some people had selfish interests in either chasing away this leader or maybe retaining her because of some issues, and that one affected us greatly. You remember, members, you will maybe supplement towards that. There was quite a lot of money that was lost. Madam Speaker, also Kabale District Government didn't escape the Auditor General's report that indicated quite a number of issues concerning the region, and especially Kabale, where it indicates that we lost over 1 billion shillings, either in mismanagement or of funds or misallocation and some other issues.
In 2014, in how many years?
It was a financial year 2013-2014 Auditor General's report. And in that, if you follow how this money was supposed to go and cater for some social services, it did not do what it was supposed to do. And that one created quite a number of issues that affected service delivery. Madam Speaker, it also we have what we call tourism revenue sharing here, because you know, it is quite another area where people living around the forests of Mogahinga and Ichi and others are supposed to benefit from the funds. But it comes in that the local people, some of them don't know how much they are supposed to receive. And those who know how much, they don't know who determines what.
So there
And
should be sensitization, you think?
Yes, in that case, there has been a corruption as far as information sharing is concerned. And that one compromises also service delivery to those people and the entire district. Madam Speaker, we also recently experienced one of the engineers saying he put some water in one of the sub-counties, where you know my colleagues know, and said that water was in place. But to reach there, it was air, no water.
But
Until
money had been spent.
Money had been spent to the dot, until when some district leaders said no, and some other district stakeholders said no. This water, I understand, was installed either during the night or somewhere, but that money, remember, it was quite big money that affected that. Madam Speaker, we also have an issue of time management in terms of corruption. If you visited our offices in Kabale, in Kigezi, you realize that people compromise a lot of things because of mismanagement of time. And time is a factor to influence many things. So, Madam Speaker, we did a survey where we found that, Madam Speaker, up to now, what we call health sub-districts, health center force, by this quarter, by 10th, there is no any health center 4 that had received PHC funds. And remember, PHC funds are funds that quite facilitate the running systems of a health unit. If you go to schools, we have also done another one where schools have not received the fund for this term. And children are in schools. They are supposed to access the services that are in a school. And that one, ladies and gentlemen, infringes also the development and social service delivery in the district.
Thank you, Honorable Member. May I have a leader from the district to also give us an overview? The Honorable Member has mentioned a number of cases that have ranged from the district.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and honorable members. Once again, I'm Chatuka Victor. I'm a district councillor.
You speak to the people directly.
I also concur with the current speaker that we have corruption in the Kabale district. We have corruption in so many areas, even if you started with the household. At the household level, there is even corruption. That's why we have even domestic violence taking high because of that corruption at the household level, where in most cases the men are overturning issues over their wives. We have corruption in our local council courts. Those people there in charge of those courts are favoring their relatives, are favoring those people who have some money and some other things to give them. We have had corruption in NADs, where those who were in charge were completely favoring those people who were their friends, the families which were rich and who would give them something. But we thank the government, as the president intervened. He has now deployed other officials. We are still waiting to see what will happen. There is corruption, especially amongst politicians. Those who rise and go to top offices, they normally want to favor and reward those who voted them into power, especially those who are funding them in the political race. And when it comes like sharing the cake or giving some other opportunities, like at the district, if the chairman was supported by somebody, now that person will be rewarded, maybe to be on the committee, let's say DEC, to be maybe on these other statutory bodies of the district. And we see that as corruption. However, we thank the government for putting other organs that are fighting corruption, the police, the IGG, the Anti-Corruption Court, and many others, though they also go with corruption in some cases.
Honorable members, you have heard from the experts the level of corruption in our district. So, do you think your leaders have performed as expected? And are they exercising zero tolerance to corruption? Yes, honorable members.
Thank you very much. Because we have some departments, heads of departments, for example, in Kabale district local government, which don't have their heads. And yet people, we have educated sons and daughters here in Kabale. Why? What is the problem? That is some kind of corruption, which we must address. Ladies and gentlemen, honorable members, they have talked about corruption in contracts. This is really, I know it is a true fact, because people pay a lot to our leaders in order to get these contracts. And that's why we are actually having shoulder work in our dispensaries, in our schools. Because the leader wants something. And you must pay something in order to get what? The contract. Even the department, I mean the departments of these ones which are supposed to fight corruption, like the police, the IGG, as my friend also put it, they are also involved in corruption. Go to police, for example, and say, I want police bond. Police bond, which is supposed to be free, it is not free. That is a true fact. They will put you in jail, and the policeman will tell you, we are still investigating, but I am in jail. Instead of giving you bond, you be there, so that you feel it. And
so in every department there is corruption?
At least I believe there is a need to do, we need to do something in our district.
Okay, honorable member, please.
Okay, thank you, Madam Speaker. My name is Noherza Emmanuel. Corruption is in Kabale district, mostly to these government leaders, these local government leaders. Most of them, they fear to monitor government projects. For example, in schools, recently when I was in primary, I used almost in a month to see a district education officer. But currently, I don't know what has happened.
They are not doing their roles.
They are not doing their
And that's
roles.
another form of corruption.
That is corruption. In health centers and hospitals, when you go there and you don't have something in your pocket, they can't work for you.
Thank you for that submission, honorable member. It's unfortunate that that is happening in Kabale district. Yes, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm called Jatemba Fulgence from Rubaya, sub-county. I'm here also to talk about corruption, which has eaten up not only our LC ones, but our country. The biggest form of corruption I've seen is poor policy implementation. The policies we through in Uganda and in Kabale as well, in particular, we have the good policies. But the policies at every corner, at every angle, whichever office you go to, there is a bribe that is associated. We have delayed payments at the district. The money is raised from the headquarters, from Kampala, but it shall take long at the district headquarters. Our question is, the question of the common man is, why is that money kept? How is that money being used before it is raised to the common man? We are aware that time is money, and the longer that money takes on the fixed account of the district, how the profit from that money that is fixed on the accounts, where does that money go? And again, you are aware that Chigezi as a region, we are the people who are embraced with minerals. But it is a shame that even when you ask one of our district councillors, he would not tell you how the people mining our minerals entered the contracts, how much that the district or the common man, maybe, for example, if we went to Rwanda, where we are mining tin, how much does the common man from Rwanda benefit? It is a pity for us, the people living in Chigezi, for us, the people living in Kabale.
Information? Please, which information do you want to give the House, honorable member?
Thank you, Madam. I would like to inform the current speaker Are you aware that there is a ban on tin from Uganda and the Great Lakes region?
Why?
You know, tin from Uganda and the Great Lakes region was declared a conflict mineral by the United States of America. And nobody has got a traceability certificate for tin.
So where do they take the one they are mining from here?
He is aware.
Okay,
So,
please
my dear-
wind up, honorable
Yes,
member.
okay. What I know is that even today, when you go to town, you shall see trucks taking tin away from Kabale.
That is iron ore.
It is the iron ore and not tin. Yes, honorable member, you have the floor.
I would like to cite a few areas which expose the forms of corruption and the levels of corruption in Kigezi region, especially Kabale district. Recently, as key corruption out of Kigezi, we carried out a survey in one of the communities that was in Rubaya, and we carried out an assessment with the community members, and one of the health centers had a challenge of having health workers selling drugs to Rwandese and denying them to the community members. That is a form of corruption. And when these community members go there to pick drugs, they tell them that drugs are not there.
Did you write a report about that?
Yes, we have.
Where have you submitted it?
We have submitted it to Deneva, and it is called a View Frontline Assessment. Another form of corruption, Madam Honorable Speaker, we carried out an assessment in the education sector and the health sector. One of the challenges that we noted in the education sector, it is so absurd, Madam Honorable Speaker. We went to one of the primary schools, and by 11, the top management was not in office. We had to wait for the headmistress, the deputy headmistress, to first report to school. And when we asked her about the enrollment of the school, the pupils, she had no idea. We asked her whether they had received the UPE fund and how much they had received, and the budget and the expenditure of the school. She had no idea. If we continue to have leaders in public institutions and they do not know their roles, then how are we going to improve service delivery? This is so absurd. In health centers, you reach there in a health center where we are supposed to have at least 9 health workers, you only find there 3, and you find a long queue of patients. Where are we heading to?
Thank you, honorable member, for that submission. You have had the members speak. You have had the ladies and the men of Kabale speak. But let's go for a short break. And when we come back, we are going to discuss on the local leaders. Are they playing their role in fighting corruption, or they are corrupt themselves? Welcome back. You are still watching NTV People's Parliament, seated here in Kabale District, presided over by none other than Agnes Nandutu, discussing a very crucial issue of corruption and how it is affecting the service delivery in Kabale District. Yes, honorable member.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think corruption is starting from the top leaders to the lower leaders. The top leaders are being provided with funds, and they end up diverting them to their own activities for their personal benefits. And they are the same people who are continuously demanding for increase in salary. So
even this district councillors are demanding for more salaries?
Yes.
Go ahead, honorable member.
Another thing about corruption is that it's harming the chances of success for small businesses, whereby they are asked to pay more taxes, twice as much as their earnings compared to the larger companies, and this has been limiting their ability to grow and become more job creating. So corruption has kept on decreasing their level of achieving.
other than serving the common person?
Yes,
Thank you, honorable member. So the local leaders you have had, instead of serving the common person, you are actually filling up your pockets. Yes.
Madam Speaker and honorable members, I want to say yes. As a Ntwiga, I am doing my role. I have tried. The only thing I have seen is that corruption has parents. It has a father, it has a mother, it has grandchildren.
Who are those parents of corruption
sisters,
in Uganda?
It has in-laws, it has friends.
First of all,
When you tamper with it,
honorable member,
you become a problem to the
honorable
entire
member,
family.
who are the parents of corruption in Uganda or in Kabale district?
In Kabale, they are everywhere. They are at the district level, they are at the sub-counties, they are in
you one of the
churches,
parents?
they are in mosques, they are everywhere. Because when we arrest a person because he has diverted funds, the first people to call, they are reverend fathers, they are reverend canons, they are district leaders, they are sub-county leaders. It is a hell. That's why I say corruption has become also a stakeholder. It has expanded beyond what we really think it is. Therefore, I want to provide what I think are solutions to this thing.
But what are you doing as a local leader to fight this vice?
That's what I'm coming to. I have been to schools of recent. Rubira Primary School. I mean, you go to a school and you find the school is actually not there. You cannot have a school which out of 24 pupils in P7, there is 0 in grade 1, 0 in grade 2, 2 in grade 3, 0 in grade 4, 20 in U, X, 9, those who didn't sit exams, and it's called a primary school. I've been to Rubira Primary School of recent, I've been to Igomanda Primary School, I've been to Varanga Primary School, I've been to Wichinda Seminary, I've been to Mwisi Primary School, and I am the first RDC, ever since RDCs were created under the National Resistance Movement, to visit primary schools in the Kabale district. I've also been to health centers. And you reach a health center, the health workers are not putting on uniform, they also look like patients. They can easily sit outside and begin sunbathing. After all, who cares? Who will know?
When the patients are waiting in the line.
The patients are waiting for health workers, but the health workers look like what? Patients. I have been to the roads. I've been to the roads. You know how many engineers we have arrested here, including the district engineer, including the engineer of Mahanga, but the noise that came from everywhere.
So
you touch somebody because of corruption, they run to the prime minister, they run to the minister for presidency, they run to the president, they go and report you. You get the idea? Now, the challenge now comes to you, the person. You look like you are overzealous. You look like you just want to do things that are not yours. There is also the element of procedure. That when I identified someone who is corrupt, I should first write to that person, then I write to the CAO, then all these things. Kumbe, the people you are writing to may be involved. So you've got to appeal to the people.
So it is a chain of corruption from a top leader to the local one.
Yes. Therefore, there has to, this democracy, I think the nationalist movement has brought a lot of democracy. Too much. More democracy than we need. You cannot say you need democracy to kill a snake. Let me give you an example. With the police, now with the police. 2 months ago, I visited Kamwezi together with the regional CID. There was a man who grabbed land, community land, because in Kabale, community land is grazing land. Because the area is here, the government, in its wisdom, provided land to the people. Those who want to have livestock, cows, goats, blah, blah. They gave them land. Now, this man came and took over this land. Now, when we reached there, I went with the police officers, including one in charge of land affairs. He explained 9 ways through which you can acquire land. Now, then I asked the gentleman, of all these 9 ways, through which way did you acquire this land? Then he stood up and said, inheritance. So together,
okay,
because it was a lie.
I will give you another opportunity to come and give us
Can I finish on this?
I will give you another opportunity, honorable member. Please.
You. The RDC says there are procedures that is procedural. When one is caught, like He has diverted funds for water. Then the police, the issue would be, you hand over that person to police, police makes findings, and when the conclusive, the journey is concluded of investigating, then that officer is interdicted. That is the procedure.
Okay.
But when you say, like my brother Kakuru was saying, that we lost a lot of money, 248 million actually, which has Serwa took. The cow was dismissed wrongly. The procedure was not followed, and they had to win the case.
And you lost billions.
We lost billions. But if the procedure was done and followed properly, the district would have not lost what? Money.
That is unfortunate.
That is, the Constitution provides that every person must defend himself before taking to courts of law.
Okay, thank you.
I beg to submit. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Do you think your local leaders are doing enough to fight this corruption?
Not really, because they are the ones who are corrupt. As I earlier said, these local leaders, instead of fighting for corruption, they are contributing to it. For instance, when we talk of land issues, you may ask an old local leader to solve a land conflict, then that old person starts asking you something. This time we call it nothing for nothing, something for something. That's how I can conclude. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Yes, please, face the people.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Are your leaders doing their role?
My name is Julius Varusia. I'm a district councillor. We are not doing our best in fighting corruption.
Why?
Madam Speaker, there is a political influence in decision making in our district. I want to first of all quote the RDC when they arrested the engineer for eating the money that was supposed to construct water. Our political head in this district said, stop interfering with my technical people. Why should you arrest my technical people without my knowledge?
Is it on record?
It is on record. It is on record. And the following day, the man was out of jail. Did he even sleep there? That's one. Two.
That's another form of corruption.
That's corruption.
You are using corruption to defend a corrupt person.
To my own understanding, it means that money was eaten by two of them or three. That's what I think. Secondly, Madam Speaker, if you are a political head, a political leader, and you are the one who doesn't want to see the income of the district, you are staying in a house, it is supposed to be generating income for the district, but you say you cannot pay that tax for the 5 years you are in that house. And because you are a political head, you use your powers until some of the few councillors went to the Minister of Local Government, direct Kampala, and he intervened. And the guy started paying rent. But he had said, the house is for the district, I am the district chairman, I therefore cannot pay for it. Isn't that corruption? And when we are saying, can you increase on sittings so that we balance our, there is no local revenue. When you yourself, you are not paying the local revenue that is supposed to be serving the people you are leading.
Thank you.
Madam Speaker, we have a lot of corruption in our topmost leaders of our district. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Member. Please.
Me, I am Isaac Tudiaikayo. I'm from Nyarwambi, Muko, then Kabale district. I'm a self-employed man. I'm now 65 years. Corruption really is a disease, has become a disease. It has not started now.
It is actually a cancer.
It is a cancer, yes. which should have at least a remedy. I have an example here. There was a line, a power line going to Kisoro. The complainants had been given forms, but then to pay, it was really
Are you one of the complaints?
Yes, I am one of the complaints, and I took even the forms to to Kololo, the head office. They gave me a letter that they are just paying us. Now it's about 3 years. So I don't know, because some of our people were the only depending on those projects that were affected. Some schools, some children have just dropped out schools because of that line. And even those people who are in our area, they jumped it, they never even supplied us power.
Were your local leaders involved in this compensation?
Okay, local leaders, yes, when we are just being assessed. But when I was in that office, the director told me that we are going to get so much. Because, so they brought even a letter. My Honorable Speaker, if you could read it at least, some people would hear. I don't know whether you
I'll look at it later. Okay. At least you have made your point. You are one of the affected people. But for 3 years, he has not been paid.
Yes, madam.
Another form of corruption. What are we going to do? Yes. Is any local leader aware about that project where people have not been compensated on that power line? Please give the House information.
There are several projects on roads and electricity where people have not been paid. Actually, what has happened is they pay this person, they jump this one, they pay another. So the sequence is ignored. But unfortunately, they have been coming to us in piecemeal, one individual after another. But all those who have come to us, we've helped them to get their payments. So Mzee, don't go without submitting your papers, and we see how to help you.
Thank you. Yes, you have the program.
Yes, Madam Speaker. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. And members, I want you people to let us be specific to the point, because we are here to be all helped. Madam Speaker, a member raised an issue where the district engineer deceived, and it's unfortunate that the speaker of the Kabale district, actually where the people are affected because of water, is coming from. Until people raised, that's when that engineer was put in jail, and I think among the people to rescue him.
So did you keep quiet?
I don't know.
My counterpart, the
yes.
speaker. Why did you keep quiet about such a matter?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The issue of Engineer Wagamhonda, the concerning engineer, where the government compensated the water source right away from Gwakaraba up to Kisoro, where we had water points. Mr. Aradis, we are aware that the contractor had 54 millions. And on the way, because of the safety that was along Kisoro, the pipes and the like, I remember most of the RDCs were sacked. The president wrote to that effect. The RDC, COW, and the sub-county security officers, GSOs, along that road, all of them were chased out.
So the matter has been solved and the culprits have been punished?
The issue was like this, Madam Speaker. They would make a water source. Tomorrow, the pipes would be stolen. Please, get me clearly.
Yes, honorable member, you are still watching NTV People's Parliament, sitting here in Kabale district, debating a very hot issue, the issue of corruption, and everybody is accusing this and this. Let's go for a short break, and when we come back, we are going to look into a way forward on how to solve the matter. You are watching NTV People's Parliament sitting here in Kabale district, debating a very hot issue, the cancer of corruption affecting the social service delivery in Kabale district. And when we went for a break, there was a lot of finger pointing, and we want the people holding the floor to clear the air. Yes, the Speaker of the district.
As a council, our role is to fight corruption.
And oversee the project.
Oversight law.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, my counterpart.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
In 1 minute, please. Can you
conclude
1 minute,
your
but
point? I'm sorry the gentleman has taken a lot
please,
of
1
time.
minute, you conclude your point.
Another issue is Kabale Referral Hospital, where the Speaker and the LRDs actually reside or sits nearby. Madam Speaker, we have a problem where we have got our Kabale Referral Hospital, and it has actually turned into be a private institutions.
What happens there?
Where you go, you find, okay, when you want to go to private wing, you pay money. When you don't want to go to public wing, you don't pay. And the money, the little money you pay, you are not given even a receipt. So we are wondering, what type of money you pay and you are not given a receipt, and this is the government hospital where the LDC stays, and it's just keep going, and the issue is our leaders helping us to have corruption. That's why they also answer that. Way forward, way forward.
Thank you. I will call you back, please.
Thank
you have been accused somewhere.
Call me back. Thank you.
Madam Speaker.
What are you doing about?
Madam Speaker.
A moment. What are you doing about that hospital? Order, honorable members. What are you doing about the hospital where people are paying money and not receipted?
I wanted to come there, then this would
just
add
a
on.
moment, please.
That issue of paying without getting a receipt is new to me. The challenges that have been at that hospital ever since we arrived in February last year, by the way we came, the people in Kabale town and the workers, the health workers at the hospital were not seeing eye to eye. The health workers had reached the extent of fearing to come to town because of the fear for mob justice. There had been so many problems, especially with the women.
Issue,
now the issue of payments without receipts, we are going to handle it with the new director, because the old director left.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, honorable member. Yes.
Out of 10 leaders, only 2 will fight corruption. The remaining 8, they are eating their 2 who are trying to fight what? You get. So we have got 2 answers. Here comes the situation where people are looking for jobs, and the people concerned, the leaders, put up announcements. Please apply this, that. Then afterwards, they will even allow you to do an interview. They shortlist you.
When they have a person who is going to work.
Exactly. Then finally.
Is that the true situation in Kabale?
Yes. Then finally, in the end, you find they were saying the person who qualifies for this job is supposed to be a senior 6 leaver. Then they just give a senior 4 leaver, leaving senior 6 and the rest of the graduates
so
that we have
means
around.
The jobs are being given to relatives. Thank you for that information. Is that true?
It is.
Thank you. Thank you for that submission. Please, you have the floor.
To me, we have other sectors where corruption is high.
What are those sectors?
For example, when you go to churches.
Speak to the people, please.
For example, when you go to churches here in Kabale or in Chigezi.
There is also corruption in the church?
There is corruption. To me, there is corruption. One, when you are a Catholic and you find that you are a teacher, you want to work maybe like in the school, the school founded by the Catholics, and you are the Protestant, they cannot allow you. When you go for the interview, they first ask you, which religion do you belong?
Really?
Yeah. Which religion do you belong?
What are the solutions? Just in 1 minute, what are the solutions?
The solution should be one. The person who is practicing corruption, if he is caught please should be sacked indefinitely. To be an example.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Member. Please, a way forward.
Given the fact that corruption has become a habit is that action that is done continuously. Why can't we pray? And even parents who are here, we believe you can never give your son a share. When you can never give your neighbor's son a share before you give to yours. So now that it is internal, let's call for a spiritual intervention. Look at your neighbor as a brother so that you pray for him, wish him the best. That is where we are going.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Member. May the Lord intervene in Kabale. Please.
This problem of corruption cannot be solved by the same level of minds that caused it. If you try to teach a pig how to sing, you not only waste your time, but also annoy the pig. We have to look into the government and change the government. If you have a child and the child defecates, that's the naps. You have to change the naps and put new clean naps.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Yes, just in one sentence.
Thank you,
what is
Madam
the solution
Speaker.
to this cancer?
Our parliamentarians have refused to enact a law that gives people to sell properties for those who are corrupt. Now, let us emphasize that when we see these people coming again to solicit for votes, we refuse them. Let us also enforce the government to increase the salaries of the, because the policeman cannot hunt a giant when he's just getting 400,000 shillings. He cannot.
I wonder how a person can come just asking you for a vote and he just bribes, he gives you some money. Then at the end when you reach there, he do what equivalently.
So what can we do as a resolution?
So therefore, we people who select political leaders, we should make sure that when we are selecting leaders, we give votes to the people whom we see that can do something. Then on the other side...
Okay, you have made your point, please. Councillor, can you give us some remarks? How can we fight this cancer? You are a leader in this district.
The organizations that fight corruption, including civil society organizations, should at least promote and put nuts to the policies that are in place that fight corruption. Because if we get someone who is corrupt, let him or her be imprisoned, refund what was taken, and even be barred from getting any political or public position. That's how we can at least fight corruption and we reach somewhere in our development.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Honorable Kakuru, please, can you give us a wind up in 2 minutes of what can we do? You are the helm of fight kicking corruption out of Kigezi.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. What we should do is to promote partnership of all stakeholders. What we should do is to value education as point number 1, because it eliminates lots of challenges that we have seen. And we must be agents of change to corruption, beginning with yourself, expand it to your family, neighbors, the whole district, the country. Let's begin with ourselves.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Member. Thank you, the Honorable Members from Kabale. And thank you for speaking out and talking about the cancer that is eating up this district. Yes, you have heard from the people of Kabale. They have expressed their concerns and they have really put forward the solutions that is supposed to be put in place in order to kick corruption out of Uganda. Because of time constraints, we cannot go ahead. I am still Agnes Nandutu, the Speaker of People's Parliament, and I am determined to inspire Uganda before I expire. I adjourn this house until next Saturday.
The views expressed on this show do not represent those of NTV or its staff.